Hello. Try not to mind the mind-numbing full AoE Anno gameplay in the background, but yeah. So I was just wrong about when the update was gonna come out. Oh well. Could you imagine though, if this next update is not actually any content, but instead actually just fixing a bunch of the big bugs that are in the game that pretty much just annoy the living hell out of everybody. Like server optimization for one, because that would be another step towards possibly getting those 200 player servers and making it a bit more, interesting. Of course, I know that we're not going to get 200 player servers per se, but they want to do like 150 and then, another 50 slots taken up by AI. Either way, if it was actually like a game health patch, could you imagine how frustrated it was actually such a polarizing kind of patch that would be, because on one side we have so much quality life that would get fixed, but then on the other hand people would just get bored because there's no new content or anything to really shake things up, right? Yeah, it would actually just be like one of those situations of good in the long run, but really crap in the short term. In which the main thing that would keep people interested would be then a balance patch along with a bunch of bug fixes, right? Otherwise, they're not getting anything else new. And on the topic of balance, AoE Anno right now, full AoE Anno. Use Shockwave, use the green hide, I think it's reinforced something. Pretty much the hide ends up, doubling the armor as soon as you hit half health, which pretty much means that you have the equivalent HP of a full health Anno yet again. And along with that, then, the cooldown that comes from adrenaline, right? And no Apex can touch you. No small slots can really touch you. The only thing that is able to even, stand in your vicinity for more than a minute is a Lambio using Guiding Beacon. Yeah, it's a little silly right now. But before I end up going into a little rant/ramble, let's get on to what this video is going to be. So I threw a bunch of random clips together, and I made them into little short stories, though I haven't gone and used replay for any of them. Most of it, as you would guess, is on Rhamphorhynchus, because you know me, but then I also have a little bit of patchy gameplay, and of course some Kentro gameplay. I haven't played Kentro in a while, but all I can say is it's pretty nuts. And with all that out of the way, I hope you all enjoy. So for this first one, let's start off with a little bit of Packy, just cause the rest of this is pretty much going to be Rhamph. You know how the videos go.
Quick, shoot me in the face!
So I was playing with some friends, and they were getting just annoyed by a Rhamph. It's just, all I can do is salute it, but for the sake of my friends, I do end up lining this up, and you know what's going to happen next.
I had to do it. I had to do it.
Again, playing with some friends, we got some Latins, we got some Rhamphs, and we have a Sarco. And, well, there's just this hat that we're not very much a big fan of it. And we've been trying to stack it up with Plague as much as possible, as it has been trying to grab people. Though we're at the point where it's trying a little too hard to get the Rhamphs.
Arrow, you crashed into him?
Always love to see a Rhamph kill.
I didn't get it on replay, but I saw it, yeah.
And so here we have the same general kind of setup focused around bleed. I'm a Rhamph, we have some Latins, the good kind of stuff. We stack up stuff with bleed and blah blah blah. And so our Latins have put a bunch of bleed onto this hat, and I decide to follow it as it goes to try and land in a tree. Even with these really, really weird pounces where I actually thought I missed that. But either way, this hat is pretty much stacked up with a lot of bleed right now, and all I gotta do is just, keep it fully plagued, and also just reduce its bleed healing with Scab Picker every so often. And so all I'm doing is going to the tree next to them to get my stamina back before pouncing them again, just so that they don't get all of the bleed off of them. But it seems that they are very, very low, as when I do eventually end up dropping off of this hat, it does just bleed out and fall to the floor. And so here, I was watching Morcrom stream, and I stopped looking at my game, and ended up dying to this hat that has been following Morcrom for quite a while. But much like elephants, Dennis will never ever forget. And so I end up flying my way back to Big Quill Lake, in which Morcrom's having a fight there, until I eventually end up spotting the hats. And so you know how this goes, I spot the hats, I pounce it, stop it from getting the bleed off of itself, and, well, yeah, you know how this goes. I know that this is the same hat, one, because of the skin, and two, because it's also using the same head slaw attack. It does end up trying to come for me when I tried to stop for stamina, in which, well, good luck with that. If you're using Peck Barrage, good luck actually hitting a Rhamph that's not just pounced on anyone or is just AFK in the first place. It just ain't happening. And so, eventually, I end up jumping off, and, well, this hat ends up flying away while I get stamina. And, like a maniac, I start chasing it while laughing my ass off as every Rhamph does. So long as a Rhamph will get its vengeance in whatever way it can, it doesn't matter about the method. Whether it's starving out a supposed target, or hopping on the back of the flying target so that it can't fly. In which, in this case, they ended up getting killed by Apache right afterwards. The only context I have for this one is that was too close.
Gimme. Mate, I went in between your jaws for that.
And so context for this one, me and some friends were on herbivores in Salt Flats, and we came across some aloes here as well. And we thought, why not have a friendly little 1v1 session here? Also, does anyone else make really weird sounds when they're stretching?
I'm stretching.
I thought you were wanting me to fight you for some reason, JJ. Ooh. Yeah. You don't know. I think you won that, but I'll take that honestly. You would win.
Yeah, let's just say they did win that, but holy hell, Kentro's insane.
Yeah.
And then the next one was against one of the aloes that was here. And for this one, I will actually be using Death Rattle. since we couldn't see each other's health bars, one of their friends came in just to stop the fight. And whereas I'm maybe 15% health, let's call it that, they said they were around 5 to 10% health. So yeah, Kentro is a little nuts, but mainly because of Detonate.
And the funny part is, I could have done that a lot faster if I was dealing more bleed damage.
But after that, I decided to go towards Big Quill instead of Hoodoo to get some water, which seemed to have been a mistake, as there was a couple of Pycnos
Yes.
here, a Titan, a Suko, an Aloe, and
Expo.
yeah, there was just a lot here.
I just wanted some water! I just wanted a glass of water! I just wanted a glass of water! Oh, mate. Oh, it's a mega slop here. Oh no. Yeah, I'm dead.
But you all knew that already. And so next up is an example of how the visuals of this game are breaking more and more every single update.
Mate, what is that for the blending? It's so fucked with the water now. What the hell? Oh. Oh. Oh, that is not good, is it? Fucking hell. That is really not good.
But that's not all. Along with the server bugs getting worse and worse each update, so are the servers. Here's a famous one of getting sucked to the floor.
Jesus Christ.
And so to round off the video, I come over to GP, say hi to a Hats, then I turn around and yeah, it's just infinite slop. And the case here is that nothing actually wants to fight each other. And while that does sound absolutely awful, this can be worked into my favour by the fact that they won't just randomly start attacking each other because they're hungry. And for a little bonus on top, there's also another Rhamph in the area that has the same goal as me. But as for what target I want to choose, I don't really want to choose the Titans, just because they have a lot more options than something else, say like a Rex. And that action pretty much just confirms it. And so you know what time it is. It is diet time for this chunky Rex. There's a lot of Apexes here who are all gonna get hungry, and so they are going to need a pretty big meal. And this will persist through any attempt of trying to get the little parasite off of their side. And even when I am pushed away, I'll be watching. Anytime they try to make any space away from anybody else, they make themselves a target. But they're not the only one who's keeping an eye out. Of course, they're watching wherever I end up landing. Though, us two Rhamphs are not the only ones with a problem with this giant group of Apexes, and yeah. There's also the Hats here. And though this attempt to push them off the cliff may have failed, it was at least a nice little distraction. It's at least comforting to know that Hats won't be after us. And there was Apache that turned up to the area, and pretty much everything started going after it, and safe to say they did end up actually killing it, giving most of these dinos here at least a small nibble. But you know who didn't even get a single bite? Well, of course, my chosen target. The only thing that really will stop me is either if another flyer comes in and starts chasing me, or I end up getting my lucky feather popped, and, well, I have to stop for at least 4.5 minutes. But so long as, thankfully, that isn't the case of another flyer coming to attack me, since I try to be friendly with the hats in the area, we continue. And hell, just some extra style points, the other Rhamph ends up jumping on. And it doesn't really do anything extra, but it's funny. But eventually this Rex does start just walking away from everyone, which makes it an extra prime target. In which now I'm actually just gonna let the other Rhamph use up its stamina all the way first before then taking my spot and carrying on the maxed out plague. But they did get their licks in. Especially with a tail attack that didn't even look like it hit me, but hey, as I said earlier, path servers are just getting worse and worse. I guess the positive side here is that I can just heal right back up afterwards. Even if, you know, by the time I end up having to jump off yet again, they end up pretty much hitting me with another tail attack. But this one seemed like it did more damage. I wonder why. Maybe it was an actual headshot. It doesn't matter, at least that one actually looked like it hit me. And thankfully, the other Rhamph was happy enough to take my spot as soon as I ended up hopping off. It's a lot better to actually just take turns instead of both Rhamphs on one person. And so they end up just slowly waddling back towards the giant pack of stuff around the river, in which, well, they are going to feed everyone here. It is almost like saying dinner time to GP. Now, think of this. I spent pretty much my entire food and water bar in order to kill this Rex, along with another Rhamph, and it took maybe 15 minutes. I put all that time and effort and patience into getting one thing done that usually ends up happening in around 30 seconds for most fights.